starting jobs using the RaiseCloud software. Now, what if I wanted to slice in a bit more sophisticated way? Well, right here in the Files options, next to My Files and the Team Files, I can have slicing profiles. And I can adjust these to anything I want. So the E2 PLA standard, for example, I can change all the options that are in the idea maker. I can change what filament types they're for. I can change the comment. I can change layer settings, first layer settings, layer start point, any of this. I can change extruders. I can change speeds, jerk, temperature, cooling, oozing settings. So anything you can think of that is in the idea maker software, I can change in the RaiseCloud slicing settings as well. And then I can save this, and it'll actually save it for the entire team. So anyone else that is on this team can use my just created slicing profile to slice their parts as well. It's a very easy way to share slicing settings among different members in your team. I can also download this slicing profile. I can export it from the RaiseCloud software to import into my offline idea maker to have the profile there as well. Of course, the other way works as well. I can upload something from my local idea maker to the RaiseCloud software as well to have it here as a profile. Right. Now, anything I missed about this? I think that's already a pretty good overview. So now we can see here the E2 is printing. My Pro 2 is still on standby. And the problem is that this one doesn't actually have any material in it, so I can't use it to start another print job right now. There would be nothing coming out of the nozzle. After this is printing, though, you can see that there's a measurement here. And it also says this one has material, the Pro 2. I just said it doesn't. And that is because you have to be careful what you select on the screens. I'll make myself big again. In the Utilities menu, when you load or unload filament, if you want to use the RaiseCloud effectively, you actually have to pay attention to what you put in here. So for example, if I click load, and then I have to select the material that I actually put in there. I can't just say, yeah, it's black PLA. If I want color coding in the RaiseCloud, then I have to make sure that I enter the correct color, the correct brand name, all of these things. Otherwise, of course, I have false information on the RaiseCloud website, as I did right here. And you can see, because I entered the filament loading process, the printer status has now changed to busy. So I think that demonstrated this quite nicely as well. I have one printing, one busy, and there as well, one job is currently printing. That's my Benchy boat. Good. What else did I want to show? Now in 3D printers, I have now only these two, but if I go into the printer settings, I can actually create groups for these. So first, I can, they're currently not in a group. If I had more printers than two, they would all be listed here. And I can, using the operations, edit these printers. I can change the nozzle size, the print bed size, stuff like this. But now I want to manage these groups, and I could add a group. For example, these are my demo printers. So I'm going to create a group named demo, add group. And you can see I don't have the permissions to operate this feature because the account I'm currently using is not an administrator. This brings me to another point that is actually quite important. And let me switch to a different, should be this one. So I've got my administrator account logged in using a different browser, so it doesn't overwrite it. And yeah, I think this is the admin. So if I click on 3D printers, I can once again click on printer settings, manage group, and I can add a group, my demo printers, without the plus. Add group. This time it worked. I now have a demo group. I could add more groups. Office, or manufacturing plant number 1, or number 2, or whatever. And now I can assign these 2 groups. So both of these belong in the demo group, because that's what I have right here. My office group will just stay empty for now. In addition to that, I can set up notifications. So if I click on expand here, I can say, if any of the printers stays on an error message for 5, 15, or 30 minutes, I want to be notified, or I can actually specify multiple users to notify. So I can say, for example, message the person that is responsible for managing this printer in warehouse number 1 after 5 minutes of an error message. And if the printer is done for more than 15 minutes, notify the manager so he can go yell at his employee that the production time is going down. So you see, these notification settings can be very helpful to efficiently manage the workflows within the factory. I'm going to collapse this again. And now they're in a group. What is this new symbol here? This is the unbind option. So say I don't want this printer in my RaiseCloud anymore. Well, I can either do that via the printer menu. I'm going to cancel the process that it's in because I don't actually want to load any filament. And I can either go through the settings again and unbind the printer from the printer menu, or I can do the same thing using the RaiseCloud. Right here, click this button, and it will unbind the printer from the cloud. First, it'll of course ask me whether I really want to do this. But if I click confirm, well, that printer is now no longer in our cloud. I go to the dashboard, I only have one printing. He is now an unbound printer, all in his lonesome, and I would have to bind it again if I wanted to get it back into the cloud. Great. So I think that's most of these things that I wanted to talk about. Obviously, there's no content for the filament used yet because this printer hasn't actually used anything yet. Our cloud is still more or less virgin, you could say. Now, going into the team settings, there's one more thing that I want to touch on because I just had that problem a few minutes ago. So if I go onto the team members tab, so first going via the admin account, going into team settings, and then my team members, I can either invite more members here as well. I can change what kind of members my members are. I can check all their emails. And using the role tab, I can create roles within my team. So for example, I could create a new role called the technician. And then I can choose what permissions that member of my team actually has corresponding to all these different things. Can he even download the binding key? Is he allowed to delete settings? Is he allowed to create roles? Is he allowed to start work orders, check work orders? Is he allowed to start jobs, create any? Is he allowed to download files, protect files, check files? All of these things can be micromanaged depending on roles, and then you can assign those to certain people. So for example, everything to do with 3D printers and printer settings, my technician is allowed to do, nothing else though. I'm very restrictive in that way. So now I've created a technician role, and I can edit this one or delete it. I can create a new role, and I can choose what the default role for new members is. Now if I switch back to the team member tab, I can now say, okay, this guy right here, he's my technician, and then I select that. Now his options are limited. He can only do the 3D printer stuff. So that's one way to limit permissions within the RaiseCloud. Now if I go back to the dashboard, jobs, where was it? It should have been here, but they've changed this interface. Let me switch back to this account and go to our team one. There's a live status wall. And if I click on this, I get a list of all the printers. And I can then open all the cameras that are available. So these 3 cameras are now loading up to show me what they're currently seeing. All the offline ones are, of course, grayed out. I can have filters to only show some of the printers. And you can see now, this one, for example, is still printing. That one is idling. That one is not doing anything either. I could reorder these printers just by clicking and dragging, and it'll reorder my printers in this live status wall. If you have, for example, a warehouse with 20 Raise 3D Pro 2 printers, and you want to sit at your desk in the management office and monitor all of these print jobs that are happening, this right here is your best friend, because you can just go to the status wall and keep an eye on all of the different printers that are currently working for you while you're at your desk doing other tasks, writing emails, making calls, meetings, whatever, and you can still have an eye on your actual production. Great. So we've covered that as well. One more thing that I want to show is if I create a new job here, I can select either from my files or from the team files. Go for the team files once again. I'll have some of the STL examples, and there's nothing in there. Oh, because it's not sliced yet. So first I need to go into the team files, STL examples, and this is my PLA model. This is what I want to slice. I click on slice using the slice online once again. Yes, I know. And this is for a Raise 3D printer, specifically I want to slice this for any Pro 2 with 2 extruders. I'm going to make this center and on platform, except it's not happening. Come on. Where's my model? Oh, over there. So the make center seems to not. Oh, because I haven't selected the model. Sorry about that. So if I select the model and then click make center, it'll actually happen instead of me just clicking into nowhere. I'm going to set it on the platform. And now I want to slice this one as well. I'll just stick with all of the standard settings. If I wanted to change something, there's also an advanced button right here, which would let me once again change, for example, the platform editions. I don't want a raft. Once again, I'll go for skirt only. Save. Slice. Now it's slicing. Wait a minute. So wait for the notification to pop up once more that it is done slicing. This is a bit larger of a model, so it'll take a couple seconds. There we go. Now it is done. And once again, there we go. I get a little plus. And now I have the G code in here as well. Now, I wanted to go into the jobs, and I wanted to create a new job from team files in the STL examples. And now I have my G code there. So before it was showing empty because there were no G code files. You can only create jobs from G codes. But this is what I want to create a job from. Confirm. And now you can see for this account, the overview is a bit different. So first, because I have many printers, I can select different filters of what I want to see. I can, for example, choose to only see the ones that are on standby. These are the only ones that I could use for printing. No, none of them. Oh, no, 2 of them are actually going to show up. Beautiful. I'm going to select those 2. And now I can select how many of this model each printer should do. And that's because I'm in the manual modus. If I change this to automatic, it'll unselect everything once. And now, once again, I want only the ones on standby. Or no, I want all the Pro 2s. I want all the Pro 2s because I sliced it for all the Pro 2s. Say I have a factory floor with only Pro 2s. And now I want to use all 4 of these to print this building model because I need 20 of them. And you can see instead of having a little counter on the individual printers, I now have 1 counter at the top. And I can select, change this number. For example, I want 20 of this model. And then click Start Print Now. And it'll automatically distribute these 20 models among my 4 printers. And then anytime one of them has finished a print, the user has to actually select whether the print was successful or the print failed. And if the print was failed, this counter will not go down. If they click Print Successful, the counter will know, okay, I've finished 1, I've only got 19 to go, and then send the next job to that specific printer. This lets you coordinate a huge number of printers very, very easily, with each printer automatically getting its next job from the cloud without you having to do anything about it. So that's a very easy way to manage, for example, larger work orders of multiple parts. And as long as the printers all in one location, it doesn't matter whether you have 2 or 4 of them, you'll just get through the print job quicker. And as I said, the software will automatically assign the new job to each one of the printers as it happens. And the counter will keep track of it for you. Great. So we've got that now out of the way as well. And I'm thinking whether there really is anything else that I haven't shown. I've shown how to bind printers. I've shown files, slicing. I've showed different teams. I've gone through the notification settings where single people get settings. But there's also another notification setting up here with a bell on the top. And clicking this little scroll wheel. This is actually what you get messages for. And you can do this, for example, for work orders. Whenever they change the status, you can email whenever a printer has been paused by the filament sensor or paused by the pause command. You can get an email or a message whenever slicing tasks succeeded, failed, when a member leaves the team, all of these things, and that would be messages and emails specifically, for events. Whereas the notifications that I set before was if a printer is on error for 5 or 15 minutes, then notify X member. This is specifically for my current user account for specific events that may happen within the team whenever a new discussion is started or similar things like that. Another thing that I can talk about is work orders. So work orders are a bit different from jobs. Work orders can contain jobs. And work orders, you can create these with a specific ID, with a name, with work order details. You can attach pictures, you can attach model files, and then you can also select a due date. So when does this part have to be finished? It's, I don't know, 3 weeks from now. It is a regular priority, or it can be urgent, if it really is urgent. And you can choose operators from among your team. For example, I want to be, and then you can click on who else gets to track the work orders and who it is visible to, only the affected persons or everyone. And then you can start this. You can have specific workflows that you can set up in advance. I'm not allowed to do that because I'm not an admin for this team, but this is something you can use to really move almost your entire production workflow to the RaiseCloud, from creating a work order, which creates a job, which is then distributed to the printers more or less automatically, that you can then monitor using the RaiseCloud, and then your parts are finished at some point. Now, a really cool thing, of course, that I haven't really touched on a whole lot is that you can monitor all of this through your phone's app. If I make myself big again and zoom in a tiny bit, so I get to the, we can actually see what's happening on the phone. And now I need the camera to refocus. So we can see right here, this is the RaiseCloud app. This is the E2 printer that we bound earlier. And if I click on it, I can then start the camera using the button in the bottom. I can have, all the controls once again. I can choose to adjust the temperature, the heated bed, the feed rate, any of this. And then I can see what it currently is printing. And that's this printer right behind me here. So I could see everything there. Say something is going wrong, I see this, then I can also stop the job using the button in the bottom. Oh, this is the wrong printer now. I've gone into the wrong team. Let me go back. So on this E2 printer, say I dislike what is happening, I can either pause it or I can just click the stop button, press confirm, and the print job will actually cancel. On the printer, it is now stopping the print and moving to the side once again. Zoom back out. And of course, I can do all of this from the RaiseCloud as well. If I make myself small, 3D printers, well, not on this one. Let's go to one that is still printing, which is the one that I have at home. I can monitor this one, that button. Once again, the camera will start. And say I wanted to print a little bit faster, I can go into the settings, and then I can select the feed rate. And I want my feed rate now to be, 150%. So I can do that, press confirm, and then the printer will get the message basically from the RaiseCloud, adjust its feed rate to 150%, and print a little bit quicker. I could pause it, I can restart it, I can stop the print, I can set up notifications, I can turn the LED lights on or off. I have my camera here. My filament, any of this. Say I want to print 5 degrees hotter. Okay, I go into the settings and I can adjust the left nozzle temp downwards or upwards. This time around, I don't want to confirm. I don't want to mess with the print that is actually happening. But we can see there's a print happening. I could take a snapshot. I can also have it in a pop-out window if I'm on the same network. So all of these things are still options in order to monitor, adjust, and control your printing results remotely from wherever you are. I can sit in the office and control the printer that I have at home. The only thing that I need is when the print job is done, somebody has to be there to take the parts out, clean the built plate, and say, okay, everything is ready for the next print, and then the next print can start automatically, depending on what I've already set up using the RaiseCloud. Great. I think I've now covered absolutely everything that I could think of. I've shown team management. Oh, the last thing that I can still do is actually go into team creation. So my last account that this entire time has just been sitting in the team and hasn't done anything. If I click on my drop-down menu up here, so this person has not created a team yet. It's only joined. You can join multiple teams, but you can only create one. So in this case, I can click on New Team, and then I can choose whether I'm individual or company. As I've said, the member limit is different. I want to create an individual one. In this case, I can select my location. So I am in Germany. Where's the G? E, F, G. Germany. My team name. Then team 2. The binding account, which is that I can select a bind account and a password. I'm going to do this the same as your email, so it'll automatically fill that. And then I need to create a binding password. This is for the case I mentioned earlier, where you can bind a printer using that email and this password that I just specified. And now it just says how to bind printers and what else to do. Well, great. My new team is created, Sven team number 2. I have no printers bound. I could now bind this printer to it and then control it using this team. So you can see the process is real easy, real painless. And then if I want to add more members, I can just type their emails in right here. So like this, I could separate multiple ones by a comma. But in this case, this is the only person I want to invite. That's my main account. Press confirm, and it'll send an email to that account that then can click on the link in the email and join this specific team. Great. Right. As I just said, I've gone through basically everything that I could think of. And I hope it has become clear that this is actually a great way to not only monitor, but also manage your prints. And what I want to say is that the value of this whole concept, of this whole process, exponentially increases the more printers you have, the more printers you want to manage. But even if it's just one or just two, like in the case that I demonstrated just now, I have a printer at home that I want to do something with, and I can do that from my phone while on the road. I can monitor the job on the road, see whether anything is going wrong. If I can see the nozzle is clogged and the model has failed, well, I can cancel the job. If I want to adjust the speed, I can do that as well. All of these different things are entirely possible just using the phone app that is available for both Android and Mac OS and iOS, that's what they call it, or doing it via the website. Again, this whole thing is completely free. And while I've only demonstrated it with Raise 3D printers today, it is possible to bind non-Raise 3D printers as well. I don't have one here, so I'm not going to do this, but down here there's an instruction how to bind third-party non-Raise 3D printer, and you get a detailed instruction manual on what you have to do. Of course, this is going to be a bit more complicated because that's not what the software was originally designed for. It's for Raise 3D printers, so that's where the great usability and user-friendliness really is. If there are any questions, now's your chance. Write them in the chat. If there are no more questions, I already want to thank you very much for being here, for listening to me. We've actually had almost 50 minutes of me just demonstrating stuff on the RaiseCloud, and I haven't seen anything in the chat, so I assume there are no bigger questions that are open right now. I do hope you all enjoyed it. As I've mentioned, we'll be doing more webinars in the future. We will also be uploading other videos surrounding 3D printing, 3D scanning, anything connected to that. So if you like that kind of content, feel free to subscribe. The recording you can share with any of your coworkers or anyone else you think might be interested. And yeah, as always, have a great day. Thank you very much for being here. And I'll see you next time. Great.